Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, me and my coworker, we text a lot outside of work, and we shared this clip amongst each other of some tall, I think he's like maybe a Spaniard or something like that. I'm not sure. He's like a tall, whitish looking guy, but he has a look in his face like he's maybe from, maybe the Middle East or something, but he's light skinned. But anyways, though, so I'm sure you'll know who I'm talking about if you're on social media enough. So there's a tall guy, and behind him is a cameraman, and that cameraman catches in real time in slow motion the number of people checking him out, which is 90% women. Some women are single, some women are with their husbands, and even some dudes check him out. Maybe they're secretly gay, or maybe they just admiring him because he's like, just like the same way a guy would look at Batman or Superman. You're not looking at him as a sexual being, but you're looking at him as like, man, look how tall and buff he is, and whatever. But anyways, though, that just reminded me of another topic for a video, and I'm gonna title this one or name it something along the lines of why women say that looks don't matter in men, whether it's the dad bod thing or just like, oh, you don't have to be perfect looking as long as you treat me well and have a good personality and character, as long as you have your stuff together, as long as you have your own place, whatever, a good head on your shoulders, all the normal stuff they say, because women, as we know, women never really expose the truth most of the time. Like, they say like just enough to make themselves sound good, and and simultaneously not hurt anyone's feelings, whether it's a guy or a girl. But anyways, so the reason why they do this is because, first of all, let's be honest with ourselves, fellas. If we're honest, at least when it comes to sex, and potentially more, but especially just sex, our threshold of what we find attractive enough is way bigger. Like, out of 100% of women, like, if you just take off maybe women over 60 or women over 500 pounds or whatever it is, and even then, but for the most part, most men find most women at least sexually attractive enough to have sex with, at the very least. So we're not, meaning like we're not as picky. Not only that, because we don't get as much of attention as the average guy, unless you're like, super good genetics, tall, whatever it is, or having a bunch of money or whatever. So our threshold of what we find attractive is way, I might even say it wrong, like higher, lower, whatever it is. Most men will smash most women or deal with most women given the opportunity. But with women, it's the opposite. They're very, very picky as far as who they're physically and sexually attracted to. So I'd say, in my personal observation, I'd say out of 100% of men, maybe 5 to 10% of those are someone they do a double look at. Like, if they see you in the mall, they'll be like, turn around, like, you see that dude? We do it all the time. Like, oh, let me just play it off and scratch my head, act like I've got to bend down and tie my shoes and check out a girl or whatever. But for women, it's like, it's very rare. So in order for them not to shut out all the attention from men, from the 95% of men that they don't really like physically like that, they'll say things like, oh, you got to take me to a nice restaurant, or you got to, text me first. You got to act obsessed with me. You have to buy me stuff. You have to, like, text me for 2 weeks and let me blow you off for, 5 to 7 days out of those 2 weeks. And you should still stay strong. And then whenever I'm finally ready to hang out with you reluctantly, then you should be jumping on it. But that's how it usually is for most women. They don't find most men attractive. But here's an example. So imagine you go to a job. You go to a job interview, and you're looking for a very specific position that you applied for. They know from the moment you walk in, most of the times, or the moment they look at your resume or how you look or how you're dressed or your appearance, that whether they want you on their team or not. All they need to do is just hear how your voice sounds and see where your mindset is. But for the most part, they have their mind made up already. And so most of the times when they know they're not going to hire you for that specific position, but they might have something else for you that you probably don't want to do, they'll say things like, oh, we're kind of full right now, or we'll keep you posted, or we'll let you know whether you got it or not, or whatever it was. But because they know if they tell you directly, no, you're not hired, you're going to get up and leave, and you're not going to like bother doing the whole interview. You're not going to bother, to still be presentable. You're just going to go, okay, well, thanks anyway, and then leave. So they're like, he wanted to be, in a top position, but what, all we really need is a janitor. So what I'll do is I'll tell him, I don't know, and we'll get back to you, whatever it is. And then later on, you get an email about like, oh, we didn't want to hire you for that, but, we have this option for you to be a janitor. When can you start? Women know that most men want to have sex with them. Unfortunately, even if they're underage, like 16, 17, I've heard stories from girls where, older men, their teachers or whatever it is are hitting on them or flirting with them or whatever it is. But anyways, all women know this, but they know that unless I want less attention or no one taking me on dates, I got to play it off and pretend like this guy has a shot, even though he's not even attractive to me at all. However, when they do meet that 1 out of 20 men, which is 5%, when they do finally meet that, small percentage of a man that they actually are completely attracted to, whether it's height or the specific race she likes or the certain look or the vibe he gives off, whatever it is, then all the rules go out the window. There's no requirement of, you have to have your own place, you have to have a car, you have to have a corporate career job, you got to have savings, you got to take me to dinner before we hang out. They're coming over and smashing right away. And I'm not advocating for fornication, but that's what usually happens. That's why they will always lie and tell you like, I don't care about a dad bod. What you men have to realize is that women put men in different categories. And 9 times out of 10, if they're in a relationship, it's because they're trying to give their vagina a rest from being in the streets. Some women put up their, rest their vagina for life, as far as like, okay, they're never going to cheat on you, or maybe like they barely give you sex because you're not really their type, but they still stay married to you anyway. But most of the times, they're only in a relationship because they're not with the guy that they really wanted. But some women are with a dream man. But for the most part, most of them settle for a dude that they don't really like that much physically, which is why a lot of men deal with women slowing down on the sex later or making them beg, or the girl giving excuses about, not tonight, my stomach hurts, I have a headache. But anyways, yeah, man, if you're, I remember what I was going to say as far as the dad bod. The reason why they say a dad bod is what they like over a super muscular guy is for 2 reasons. The number one reason is, if you have a dad bod, they feel like you're going to be less attractive to other women, because women already want to take a break and relax once they get in a relationship. Like, I can get fat now and I can not shave my armpits as often or shave my legs every night now that I'm not going out or going on new dates, meeting new men. I can let out my farts. I can whatever, have morning breath, whatever. But anyways, so first of all, you're going to be less attractive to other women, in their mind at least. Secondly, if you're overweight, there's going to be less likely of a chance that you're going to try to get on her to lose weight. Think about that. So those are the reasons why. It's not because they're truly sexually attracted to a stomach. What woman wants to have to lift up his stomach to put her face in your area to do a certain act? You know what I mean? Just like men like nice bodies, women like nice bodies too. It's just that we're less picky. So it's like, okay, she has a little stomach, it's okay, I'll still do this. Or it's okay, she has a little flat butt, or her boobs aren't that big, whatever it is. But for them, they're very, very picky. Like, you have to stimulate them visually and emotionally. But anyways, enough of that video. But you guys get the point. I'm gonna do some highlights on this, to have it pop up on YouTube, whatever. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to help you decipher female nature. This doesn't mean I have issues with women. I'm happily married to a wife who submits to me, who's cool with me doing whatever I do. I don't cheat on her. I don't treat her bad. I pay all the bills. She raises our boys at the house. We do our best to serve God, even though we aren't perfect. But anyways, over and out.